The bright morning sky suddenly turned tense outside the military court building. The third day of the trial involving the abuse of Jungkook, a young soldier, captured widespread attention. The case became the center of public discussion after a video recording, believed to be crucial evidence against the four defendants, was presented. A case that shook the military. Jungkook, who was in the early stages of his military career, claimed to be the victim of prolonged physical and mental abuse. The four defendants included 3 mid-ranking soldiers and a captain, all holding strategic roles within the unit where the incident occurred. This case not only highlighted individual acts of violence, but also raised questions about the often opaque and hierarchical military culture. Video evidence that opened the public's eyes. The video shown in court became the focal point of the trial. In the footage, Jungkook is seen being forced to perform extreme physical acts while enduring mockery and harsh orders. The unit captain is visibly present but made no effort to stop the abuse. The digital forensic expert brought by the prosecution confirmed that the recording was authentic and unaltered. This testimony dismantled the defense's earlier claims that the video was fabricated, revealing a pattern of systemic abuse. In addition to the video, the prosecution presented internal documents revealing similar complaints from other soldiers. These documents demonstrated a long-standing pattern of abuse, coupled with efforts to cover up such incidents. A psychologist who evaluated Jungkook testified that the victim suffered profound trauma consistent with systematic mistreatment. Defense fails to convince. The defense argued that the actions depicted in the video were part of rigorous military training. However, the prosecution firmly refuted this claim, stating that the actions were not aligned with legitimate military training standards, but were instead acts of abuse of power. Court ruling and family reactions. After reviewing the evidence and testimonies, the judge handed down severe sentences. The 3 mid-ranking soldiers received 5-year prison terms each, while the captain was sentenced to 8 years in prison. The ruling was met with emotional relief by Jungkook's family, who called it a small step toward justice. Jungkook's father expressed hope that the case would spark reforms within the military. "This isn't just about justice for my son, but for every young soldier who might face similar experiences," he told the media. Impact and calls for reform. The case sparked a wave of calls for reform from human rights groups and veterans organizations. The Minister of Defense pledged to conduct a thorough evaluation of military training and tighten oversight. However, public skepticism about these measures remains high. Some lawmakers are advocating for new legislation to protect young soldiers, including providing easier access to legal and psychological support. The hashtag Justice for Jungkook continues to trend, reflecting the public's strong support for change. Jungkook, a symbol of change despite being in recovery. Jungkook shared his hope that this case would mark the beginning of significant change. In an interview, he stated, "I want this to be the end of suffering for many people. This fight is not just for me, but for future generations." Towards a better future. This case is not just about seeking justice for Jungkook, but also about creating a military environment that is more transparent, fair, and oriented toward human dignity. Continued public support, media coverage, and consistent legal efforts are key to ensuring that such tragedies do not recur. Military reform now lies in the hands of leaders and a society pushing for change. With courage and determination, Jungkook and his family have become symbols of hope for a better future for young soldiers across the nation. Broadening the fight for systemic reform. The outcome of Jungkook's case has set a precedent, prompting discussions on broader structural issues within the military. Advocacy groups are now urging the establishment of independent oversight committees to investigate and prevent abuses in other units. They emphasize the importance of whistleblower protection, ensuring that soldiers can report misconduct without fear of retaliation. Public awareness and media's role. Media outlets have been pivotal in amplifying the case's significance. Several investigative reports have uncovered similar patterns of abuse and cover-ups in other military units. These revelations have further fueled public outrage and demands for systemic reform. Educational institutions have also joined the effort, incorporating military ethics and human rights into curricula to foster a more informed and proactive generation. Legislative momentum in Parliament. Discussions on drafting new laws to protect soldiers' rights have gained traction. Proposed measures include mandatory counseling services, ensuring all soldiers have access to psychological support, legal assistance programs, establishing dedicated legal aid for military personnel, regular oversight audits, conducted by external agencies to identify and address violations. These steps aim to build a military environment that balances discipline with respect for individual dignity. Jungkook's personal journey as the legal and social battles continue. Jungkook focuses on rebuilding his life. He has begun sharing his story through public speaking events, aiming to inspire others to speak out against injustice. Despite the challenges of recovery, Jung remains determined to turn his painful experience into a force for positive change. I've learned that courage isn't just about facing physical challenges. It's about standing up for what's right, even when the odds are against you. Jung shared during a recent public appearance, the road ahead. The case of Jungkook has illuminated the cracks in a system that many believed to be impenetrable. It has empowered other victims to come forward, breaking the silence that has long shielded abuse within hierarchical institutions. However, the journey toward a reformed and transparent military is far from over. It will require unwavering commitment from government leaders, the military establishment, and society at large. Public pressure, legislative action, and institutional accountability must align to create a safer and more humane environment for all soldiers. The symbol of hope and justice. Jungkook's fight for justice has become a symbol of resilience and the power of a single voice to spark change. As the nation rallies behind him, his case serves as a poignant reminder. No institution is above accountability, and no individual is too small to demand justice. The story of Jungkook is not just about a young soldier's struggle. It's about a society's collective effort to uphold dignity, fairness, and the rule of law. It's a testament to the enduring belief that, even in the face of adversity, justice will prevail. National impact and global attention. The case has not only sparked national debates, but has also drawn attention from international human rights organizations. Several global watchdog groups have praised the swift legal actions and the public's unwavering support for systemic reforms in the military. Military leadership under scrutiny. The military leadership faces increasing pressure to address the culture that allowed such abuses to persist.